Please stand for the pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated for a moment of silence. Congratulations to the Ready, Set, Teach TAFE senior officers, Madison Small, Sophie Withers, Maddie Hall, and Katrina Thornton for the honor to present the Educators Rising National Conference in Orlando this summer. On February 22nd, members of the PHS Speech and Debate team competed in the National Speech and Debate Association District Qualifier. Junior James Kim placed second in Congressional Debate and qualified for the national tournament. Be sure to stay tuned. ENN is next.
Today on Eagle Nation News, one teacher at PHS made her material come to life by bringing in real estate agents to speak to her class. Christina Krasnova meets with the real estate agents to discuss the adversity they've had to overcome. Local Yokel, a family-owned barbecue and grill, is more than just a restaurant. Coleman Meyer meets with the owner to share his passion for his business. The Prosper Fishing Derby took place over the weekend. Alyssa Ventura takes a look at how the event brought members of the community together. Good morning, Eagle Nation, and thank you for joining us. Today is Friday, February 24th. I'm Landry Long.
And I'm Grace Oswell. Today our teleprompter is not working, so please bear with us for this episode of ENN.
The students at Carlsberg High School have raised over $200,000 for their 80-year-old janitor, Mr. James. Fox 4 reported that formerly retiring Mr. James came back to work in January after his rent raised. But when 3 students heard his story, they immediately set up a GoFundMe account in Mr. James's name. Student Grace Thurman, who posted the campaign, said, quote, "Nobody deserves to work their entire life. They deserve to enjoy everything. They deserve to enjoy everything just like Mr. James. Mr. James is still working at the school, but just in 1 week, the community has raised money in hopes that he can soon permanently retire."
The city of Frisco might not actually be getting a theme park. Frisco officials rescheduled the discussion for a special use permit to March 7th. The Dallas Morning News reported that a kid-focused hotel and park was announced in January, and Frisco residents began to voice concerns about traffic, crime, crowded roadways, and city transparency, and whether or not a theme park would be a good fit for the town of Frisco. Frisco Mayor Jeff Cheney said that more information will be presented at the March 7th meeting. A vote on a special use permit for the park is expected to take place at said meeting.
Grace, I have expressed my excitement for the theme park, but these questions and concerns that residents have do make sense.
I agree. I'm glad that the city of Frisco is given an outlet to have this conversation and raise these concerns.
I agree. And speaking of conversations, one teacher brought in a guest speaker to share their journey to inspire students for Black History Month.
Christina Krasnova showcases how 4 Black real estate agents overcome adversity on a daily basis.
Adversity. This is a word that describes what people of color have fought against all throughout American history. In Miss Patterson's African American Studies class, students learn about these adversities from the past. But to help show that adversity still exists today, 4 Black real estate agents visited her class to speak on how they've faced adversity.
For me, sometimes adversity is just being the only person of color in the room and trying to push forward and not feel uncomfortable in this new setting for me where there's not a lot of people that look like me.
I'll say My past specifically, it molded me into the person that I am today, because I think that the different type of things and the different type of adversities that you go through in life, it builds you up to become the adult that you want to be. So I think, it's imperative that we go through things in life, because if life is perfect, then how do we get better?
But facing adversity can only happen with a heart full of hope and determination.
Growing up in an environment where there were a lot of individuals around me, adults who were supposed to take care of me, that were on drugs. I just knew, I didn't know what it would look like, but I just knew that there was something bigger for me and better for me on the other side.
After hearing their presentation, Ms. Patterson is inspired with how they've handled their challenges.
Sitting here as they were speaking, and I just was so proud of them as individuals for choosing to overcome instead of make excuses. You just don't know the ripple effect, even generations, that could be changed and inspired because you reached somebody.
With the four of them working together to overcome their pasts, they've proved that adversity doesn't define the future. I'm Christina Krasnova, reporting for Eagle Nation News.
It is great to see how Ms. Patterson is going that extra mile to show her students real-world examples of the growth in the real estate industry.
And also recognize the adversity that they overcome on a daily basis. And much like the real estate industry, the drama in Hollywood is constantly growing. Stay tuned, Talent Talk is next.
Happy National FFA Week. Follow @ProsperFFA on Instagram for daily updates of events. The Prosper FFA leadership team has picked out facts to share in honor of National FFA Week this week. Today's fact is, it takes one hive of bees 55,000 miles of flight to produce 1 pound of honey.
Everyone is talking about the new season of Outer Banks that dropped yesterday. Tyler, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. I haven't watched it yet, but before we get into the Outer Banks drama, just yesterday, disgraced singer and songwriter R. Kelly has been sentenced to 20 years in prison based off of charges of sex trafficking, child pornography, and more. Kelly is already serving a sentence of 30 years. 19 of the 20 years that he was sentenced to will be served alongside his 30-year sentence, and one will be served after. In much brighter news, music has been announced by Lana Del Rey's dad. Nepotism is having an opposite day this week as Rob Grant, Lana Del Rey's dad, has announced his debut album, Lost at Sea. Looking at the album cover, it seems pretty dramatic, not too different from Lana Del Rey's music. Despite being announced today, it was announced that it would release on June 9th. Who knows? Maybe Rob Grant will create the perfect summer hit. I don't know, maybe Lana Del Rey's most popular song was revolved around summer. Maybe it's a good omen. From listening to watching, Season 3 of Netflix's Outer Banks released yesterday, but many fans are starting to doubt the series. Yesterday, 10 episodes of the teen drama were released, but as time moves on, fans are starting to lose interest. Rolling Stone called the newest season ridiculous, stating, Season 3 of Outer Banks relies heavily on narration and flashbacks to keep its momentum going, a party trick that does little to hide its thin plot. I personally haven't watched the season yet or the show, but I know some people who have. Landry, Grace, what did you think about Season 3 so far?
I started watching Season 3 last night, and so far I am not impressed. I love Season 1, and Season 3 just doesn't compare.
That's so disappointing to hear. I did really enjoy Season 1 and 2.
Well, something I do enjoy is Texas barbecue. Local Yokel, a family-owned barbecue and grill, does everything with heart, soul, and passion. Coleman Meyer sits down with the owner to hear his story.
Located in downtown McKinney is a farm-to-table barbecue and grill. But to owner and founder Matt Hamilton, this restaurant is much more than just a business.
I grew up in southern Oklahoma, farming and ranching. We're a multi-generational ranching family. We've been ranching there in southern Oklahoma since the mid-1800s. So I grew up in a ranching family as well as commercial agriculture. I eventually opened a butcher shop, raising grass-fed beef. Opened a restaurant 4.5 years ago.
Since opening the Local Yokel restaurant in 2018, Matt has seen his original small local business expand into a thriving multi-location franchise.
Oh man, my life's a lot more complicated since opening Local Yokel. We thought we would be a small little mom and pop butcher shop, 2 or 3 employees, and we'd sell a little beef out of a retail store in downtown McKinney. That quickly spun up into selling beef out to 30 to 40 restaurants.
Despite owning several profitable business locations, Matt always strives to put the ranchers first.
Ranching for profit, so trying to get back to profitability in ranching, something that has not really happened since the late 1800s. Very little of that beef dollar spent at a retail or restaurant make it back to the ranch. So trying to gather up all of those places that dollar gets spent along the way and actually be profitable in ranching.
The barbecue grill and butcher shop combo allow for the best quality meat to make it to not only the tables of the restaurant, but the customer's home kitchen. I'm Coleman Meyer, reporting for Eagle Nation News.
In a competitive barbecue market like Texas, it's great to see how local yokel values the story behind the food.
Yes, Texas barbecue is competitive, but you know what else is? Prosper Sports. Game time is up next.
The Prosper Rocket League varsity team is currently undefeated in the HSEL Spring Open, winning 4-0 over Alice High School and beating Denham Springs High School 4-0. Tune in tonight at 5 on the Prosper High School Eagle Esports Twitch channel to watch as they march towards nationals.
Winter sports are coming to a close, but spring sports are just kicking off. Madeline Wentz is in studio with your Game Time Sports update.
Thanks, Landry. With basketball season over, attention shifts to the Diamond. Softball and baseball are currently in preseason tournament play. Softball is participating in the Allen Tournament today and tomorrow, and baseball will continue to play in the 380 Invitational throughout the weekend. Softball fell to Lovejoy 5-11 earlier this week and will face Keller Timber Creek at home at 7 p.m. next Tuesday. Prosper Eagles softball will take part in the Turf Wars at Northwest High Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week in their final tournament before the regular season starts March 7th. Boys varsity golf teed off this morning at 8 a.m. at the Waco ISD Spring Invitational and will continue to compete throughout the weekend. In Prosper soccer this week, both boys and girls teams beat Rock Hill on Tuesday in the Pride of Prosper rematch. The games ended with the same score of 2-0 Prosper. Both teams are set to play Little Elm tonight at 7:30, girls on the PHS turf and boys at Little Elm. They'll take on McKinney Boyd next Tuesday at 7:30, boys at home and girls away. Both teams are currently 13-0-4 and are looking to keep that undefeated record going throughout the 3 weeks of the remaining of the regular season. And that's all for your Game Time Sports update today. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Madeline. In other Prosper news, this weekend the Prosper Fishing Derby took place. Alyssa Ventura reels in all the information you need to know about this event.
Good save. Good save.
Thank you.
The Prosper Fishing Team held their annual Prosper Fishing Derby at Frontier Park. The event was open to the community and members of the club were able to volunteer and assist the younger children.
I decided to volunteer because I wanted to teach the younger generation how to fish, and because I want to be able to show what I know and give it to the next person so they can learn.
Mao stated that fishing isn't what most people think that it's like, and that it takes an extreme amount of effort and dedication.
A lot of people think it's luck, but it's really not.
According to Mao, learning how the fish react is a valuable aspect in the sport of fishing. For members of the club, not only is it vital to build that relationship with the fish, but also with their team.
I got roped in by my friend Ethan. We used to fish ponds together, and he found out about the team, so we just joined.
Fishing can grow stronger connections within the team and be a bonding experience for families.
I go to Minnesota every summer, and so my grandpa taught me how to fish when I was young. I would go with him on his little boat, and we'd go on lakes and go fishing, and it was really fun.
This doesn't happen very often. Not many people. This is like a once-a-year thing, so it's really good to see that a lot of people come.
Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Alyssa Ventura.
It's cool to see how even though fishing is mainly a solo sport, the community was able to gather and act like a team for this event.
It's great to see all of the opportunities the community is given. Well, that's all we have for you today, Eagle Nation. Once again, I'm Landry Long.
And I'm Grace Oswell. Thanks for tuning in to this interesting episode of ENN, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day, and go Eagles.